So, um, you mentioned that many school counselors are assigned tasks and workloads that are not in alignment with what is recommended by the American School Counselor Association. This is a disservice to so many of our nation's youth. What do you mean by that?
So the American Counseling Association recommends one counselor for every 250 students. And so if we think about our counselor's role is actually quite complex. I mean, I worked in K to 8 schools, but a lot of high school counselors are also supporting students with post-secondary readiness. So that's even, doing all the FAFSA applications, helping students with college admissions. And it's very complicated, and there's a lot of work that goes into that. And I think, coupling that with the high levels of social emotional need that we're talking about. And I think what makes counselors unique people in school buildings is that we have specialized training in that. And sometimes I feel like, we could even take for granted what we know as counselors that other people might not know about communication, how to talk to people, how to recognize signs of trauma and things like that, what to do about it. And so it's really helpful to have someone in the school building that knows how to, work with children, who maybe are experiencing trauma or depression. I know there's really high rates of suicide in the US right now, and having someone there that can help support students. One thing that I always think is interesting is, speaking of North Lawndale and working at Lawndale Community Academy, is that there were such high levels of social and emotional learning needs that, I there's no way I could do it on my own. And so I even think the ratio needs to be smaller than that. And I think that to have, even 250 students could be a lot. And maybe there needs to even be more than that. I think some of it is just raising awareness for people in education to know what counselors even do and how we can provide support. And interestingly, schools in communities that are more affluent have higher numbers of counselors present. And so that there's also an equity issue there. So how come these students who have so much opportunity and access have a high level of school counseling support, whereas students in communities where maybe there's a lower socioeconomic status don't, and just how that contributes to widening opportunity gaps.
Yeah.